Ford en op de Chevrolets. En dan uiteraard zetten we de dag verder met wedstrijden van de Belcar Historic Cup, van de NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, van de Belcar Endurance natuurlijk, van de Belcar Youngtimer Cup en van het NK GT&TC, het kampioenschap dat we hier zo net aan het werk hebben gezien. Dan gaan we ons stilaan opmaken voor de laatste wedstrijd van de dag. En die wordt becommentarieerd door Guy Geurts. Die gaat zo meteen denk ik weer naar de startrit gaan. Hij twijfelt.
So welcome along, ladies and gentlemen, back to Zolder, to Circuit Zolder, for what is coming up shortly. Round 11 of the 2018 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. We saw a fantastic race from the Elite One competitors earlier on. Alan Day securing victory. The reigning champion moves into the lead of the championship, subject to official confirmation of the points. He also claimed his 16th win of the season. 16th career win in NASCAR, his 6th of the season. And that makes it something like 4 wins out of a possible 7 at Zolder. He really has been the man to beat. But it's the Elite 2 competitors that get the opportunity now. There's just a slight delay. We've only just had the checkered flag for one of the support races here at Circuit Zolder. So we're expecting the cars to head towards the end of pit lane in about 4 to 5 minutes' time before we can then start our build-up to this race. So whilst we've got a short delay, if you want to go and put the kettle on, by all means do. But don't be far away, because in around about 10 minutes' time, we'll probably be on with the start of the rolling lap to our NASCAR Whelen Euro Series Elite 2 first championship final of the weekend. Remember, it's double points rather than the standard 40. It's 80 points for a race win this weekend. So it really is the semi-finals at Hockenheim, which is double points as well, and the finals where your championship is won or is lost. I'm delighted to say joining me in the commentary box for this one is Mauro Trione, who's one of the drivers and one of the stars of the Elite 1 division. Mauro, welcome back to the commentary box. We saw you earlier on this season. You joined me at Tours, did you not?
Yes, it was a pleasure to be with you at Tours, because it was a lucky event for me as well. Not as much during this weekend, because I got, I didn't race very well in the first one. But I'm very happy to be with you. This is a beautiful event. This is a beautiful circuit. The finals, double points, everything can happen. And we have the race tomorrow. So let's see now what the Elite 2 guys do. We have my teammate racing. So very happy. Thank you again for inviting me.
Hey, you're more than welcome. You're welcome any time at all. Yeah, you see your teammate. That's the number 31 car. So it's the Race Art Blue Motors number 31 car, your Chevrolet Camaro, driven in this one by Francesco Parli. Of course, he is having, a bit like you, he's having his first season in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series.
Yes, actually, he had the debut in NASCAR last year here in Zolder. Yep. But yes, we are, let's say, rookies. We are paying this fact that we don't have experience, but we're learning. So the learning curve is improving, and definitely is the what we like is the challenge, because we are both in contention for the trophy. I'm for the the Challenger Trophy, and Francesco for the Legend. Very happy to be here.
And it's a busy weekend generally for the Trione family as well, because we saw your son Giovanni out racing just yesterday in the Elite Club.
Yes, my son, as you know, I quit racing 23 years ago, and my son was just 1 year old. And since then, he told me that I would like to try, and I pushed him back, because I said, no, racing, stay away from racing. But then, I have it in my blood. I had the opportunity this year, and he said, Dad, you promised me when I was young, give me the opportunity. And Elite Club is perfect, because it's a formula that is more like a regularity thing that is made for person that want to try, like my son. Didn't have a big racing experience, actually none, he's a golfer. But this format is perfect, because you don't have the pressure of a real competition between other competitors. I mean, fighting together, you are against yourself.
Yeah.
The capability of staying within a certain lap time, and you learn the car, you improve, because every session there is a new limit that is lower. Is a perfect way to get into this flavor, and maybe the year after say, okay, I'm going to challenge now for the Elite 2 Championship maybe.
It's sort of a ladder, isn't it? Yeah, so as you suggested, your son Giovanni starting out in Elite Club, which as you say, is not a race, but it is competitive. You try and stay as consistent as you are in your lap times, then come through into the Elite 2 division, and then as we've seen from so many drivers, the ones you race against in Elite 1, the likes of Gianmarco Ercoli and Stanis Longines and Thomas Ferrando, all champions in Elite 2, that then make the next step up.
Exactly. So Elite Club is, don't take me wrong, is a race, because I mean, you need to compete, you get into a podium, there is somebody that wins, somebody that doesn't win, but you don't fight with other drivers in the truck. You fight against yourself.
And the clock.
And the clock, exactly. So it's a beautiful opportunity to learn how to drive these cars, because these cars are not, are unique. So you need to learn, and you know, is perfect. Doesn't cost much. So I suggest people that want to try NASCAR to contact the NASCAR organization and check the Elite Club, because it's fantastic. And my son, sincerely, just because we talk about him, is already into my ear saying, Dad, are you going to race next year? Let's have a Trione car, Elite 1 and Elite 2. And this is all about. It's beautiful. And
the best thing is, EuroNASCAR.com is the place to go. Send them your racing CV, because if you send them your racing CV, you may well get invited along to one of the test days that exists over the course of the winter period. So log on to EuroNASCAR.com, the website, email them via that website with your racing CV if you're interested in joining the championship, or if you're interested in joining Elite Club, Elite 2, doesn't matter, because we've seen several drivers do exactly that. Alexander Graf is a casing example who we saw out in Elite 1. He did exactly that, went to the taste today, submitted his racing CV, got accepted for the test, and we see him out competing with you in Elite 1.
And I did the same. Yeah, you know, I had the opportunity because NASCAR invited me in Franciacorta. I tested. It was, you know, after 23 years, a lot of rust. I got into the championship with the Swiss team, and now I'm back. I have the feeling of, you know, the past, and trust me, contact the NASCAR organization, submit your CV, your resume, your racing resume, and come to test maybe in Franciacorta. I think there are three dates that are already available for the recruitment days.
And they're going quickly, so yeah, get in there quickly. We can see now that most of the sweeping up has been done. We can see our marshals, a mixture of sweeping gravel off the circuit. I think that was the Villeneuve chicane where that had been deposited. There was also an oil spill in the support race as well. So now all that has been cleared up. You can see the cars starting, and only now just starting to head towards the end of pit lane, so it will be a while before we get the cars released. So there's still time for us to sort of have a chat about things generally over the course of what's happened. We see the Elite 2 division heading out onto circuit now. Well, heading in towards the Hockenheim races last time through, Ulysse Delceau, the Frenchman, was leading the championship, Mauro, but he had a difficult race in race 2, leading the race, went into almost the penultimate corner with a rear puncture, which he leant on a bit too hard on the tyre, which was deflating at the time, and went off into the gravel trap, which cost him championship points. It cost him the lead of the championship. Coming into this one, Guillaume de Flandre and Ulysse Delceau, first and second in the championship, 2 points separate them, that's all.
I have the feeling. All the championship, Elite 1, Elite 2, the Challenger Trophy are... you know, the drivers are, you know, divided by few points.
Yeah.
The fact that we have the double points in each race now can make a big difference. You can, you know, pass your competitor, and but you have the next race that is open to any result. With contacts, and anything can happen. So even if today something will happen to Guillaume, tomorrow it will be, you know, potentially the other way around. So this is the beautiful thing about this championship. It's always open.
Absolutely, and mathematically we've got so many drivers could still win it. You know, there are 88 points potentially available. Sorry, there are 172 points, when I do the maths correctly, available over the course of just this weekend alone. So that would bring you all the way down to 19th in the championship. I mean, the maths would have to be very clever for that all to work, but so many drivers are still within a shout. Guillaume de Flandre and Ulysse Delceau leading the championship, just 2 points separating them. Just 18 points off that is Florian Venturi, who's third in the championship, but he's the leading rookie. He's the first of the rookies that we've got in the field, so that's drivers entered into the Elite 2 championship in their first season of racing in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. Florian Venturi having done the French Formula 4 championship last year. But even when we look elsewhere down through the order, the likes of the Lady Cup that we've got, Carmen Boitschil, the reigning Lady Cup champion, the Spanish driver racing for Alex Caffey Racing, we'll see her out fighting over lead position with Ariana Casoli, and those two are separated by well, what's that? That's only 6 points separating those two for the Ladies Cup.
It's 5 points.
5 points.
I think so, yeah. 29, 34, I think it's 5 points. Again, all the trophies are close. Double points, you know, you have a contact on the first turn, somebody, you know, you spin, and the championship is open again. I was talking to my friend Lucas Lasser early. He was leading the championship before Elite 1, Race 1. He had a failure in the brakes. I think that they are almost ready to start. And he was very, let's say, disappointed.
Yeah,
but I told him, today happened to you, tomorrow is another day. Is another, yeah.
Yeah, it happened to Loris Hazemans, it happened to Luca
Exactly,
Lasser,
Loris, the same thing.
In today's, it could happen to Alan Day and Fred Gabion in Elite 1 tomorrow. And let's hope that all of the drivers out there now have good luck in this one, because we can see they're all now assembled down towards the end of pit lane, and very, very shortly we'll get the green flagged waved at the end of pit lane, which will allow all of the cars then to make their way out onto circuit for what is going to be a very full grid. There were, in qualifying, 25 cars in the Elite 2 division. So the green flag waves at the end of pit lane. So let's just give you a little teaser as to what could happen here at Circuit Zolder. Zolder in Belgium will host the finals of the 2018 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series over the weekend of the 20th and 21st of October. The fans flocked to see some wheel-to-wheel action in the finals in 2017. With double championship points available, there'll be plenty of action on track. Who will follow in the footsteps of 2017 champions Tomo Ferrando and Alan Day, and who will lift the championship trophy? So as the cars leave pit lane, welcome to Circuit Zolder on the build-up to round 11 of the 2018 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series Championship. It's the Elite 2 division. You can see what are beautiful conditions. It was a rather chilly morning. Felt very autumnal here in Belgium when we woke up, but now we can see that the sun is glinting off the car, so the drivers have that to contend with. We can see the red and yellow striped flag being held out by the marshal over to the right-hand side of the circuit, indicating that there's some oil on the circuit. That has been treated by our Belgian marshals and should be soaked up. It just forewarns the drivers that there's a few things for them to contend with at what is, Mauro, probably one of the most technical circuits that we go to on the championship.
Yes, I was very surprised because I never drove in Zolder, so it was the first time for me, and I felt it was more like, you know, brake and restart because of the chicane. Actually, it's very fluid. You need to drive it in a fluid way. You go up, you go down. It's dangerous because there is walls everywhere. So if you make a mistake, like I did, you know, I was lucky enough not to touch anything, but the wall is so close that you can really ruin your car because you also go fast. This is a circuit where we use the fourth gear most of the time. So it's speed, and then you have to brake, the chicane, and it's also, you know, a circuit that reminds me when I was a kid. You know, the Formula One racing, unfortunately, is famous for Villeneuve, but you know, this represents the history of racing in Europe, and not only in Europe. So it's beautiful to be here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic circuit. It was actually Belgium's first purpose-built circuit, so plenty of history here. Previously, they used to race around the streets in this local area before what was initially a 1.56-mile circuit was built, which certainly was a considerable step up as well. Of course, it first held the Belgian Grand Prix in 1973. Spa was in the process of having modifications done to it. So somebody's already coming into the pit lane.
Number 4.
That is, yeah, that's Jean-François Dumoulin, one of our drivers that's here as part of the NASCAR Exchange Program, driver exchange program. So Fred Gabion in Elite 1 went over to race in the Pinty Series in Canada. The flip side of that is that Jean-François Dumoulin heads here to race with us at Zolder. But yeah, plenty of history here at Circuit Zolder. And I went out to spectate, you know, you were saying about the chicane slowing things down. I went out to spectate at the Gilles Villeneuve chicane yesterday. And fantastic, that corner, you know, the car sort of grounds and bottoms out on the right as you turn in, it bottoms out on the left as you turn in.
And then you have right again.
Then you go right again. But what really surprised me is through the chicane is very difficult, but you really have to be careful how quickly you get on the throttle even when you get out of the chicane, because that's quite a difficult right-hander after the chicane.
Yes, exactly. This is where I made a mistake today. You know, I went on the throttle too early. I was trying to catch up Ken Comure that was and Dario that were in front of me. And I spin, and you know, the car is the weight transfer is so quick that if you put your foot on the throttle a little bit early, or if you release the brake a little bit late, then it's difficult to recover. So we have a problem here.
We do, yeah. Jean-François Dumoulin looking as though he's going to reverse his car into the pit box there, and that's an enormous shame for the French-Canadian, whose family-run team have been hugely successful in the Canadian Pinty Series, but it's not going to be. I was really impressed with Jean-François in qualifying. He almost made it into Super Pole. Top 12 cars go through. I think he was 13th.
In Elite 2?
In Elite 2.
Oh, yeah, okay. Because in Elite 1, he was racing with me, and we were... not quite in the top 10, unfortunately. No, he's improving. So we really talked at the beginning on Friday. We are close on the, you know, with the cars on the pits. And as for me, he didn't know the circuit. He doesn't know the circuit, so he's learning. And he's very positive. He's also very happy to drive here. He likes the circuit. We have been chatting with Bobby Labonte and the other American guy that came for this race.
Dale Quarterly, yeah.
Yeah, I'm very sad that he had to stop because, again, I believe that every race, every lap that he does, like me, it will be an improvement. So he finished Elite 1 race, now was ready for Elite 2. Maybe he will have a chance to join again. Maybe the problem is a small one. Let's see what happens.
Let's hope so. Yeah, absolutely. So build up to the race. We can see the girls, Popcorn girls out there dancing. We can even see the fans busy joining in as well. Lots of head nodding going on by one of the fans there. So that's a good shot there of the grid. So let's just sort of guide you through the grid, and we might be able to pop a graphic up as well as to how the grid is going to line up. You can see the red-fronted car there over on the right-hand side of the circuit. That is Guillaume Dumoulin, the number 24 PK Car Sport car in the hands of the newly... driver who's just newly become a father, sitting there on pole position. He missed out at Torque, didn't race because the car was involved in an accident in the Elite 1 division. He didn't appear at Hockenheim because he was imminently about to become a father. He comes back to the championship, qualifies on pole position. Impressive stuff from the Belgian. His home NASCAR Grand Prix, of course. And alongside number 37, the Wilfried Brusenna-driven Knauf Ford Mustang. Row 2 of the grid is 32, the Go Fast Racing Ford Mustang of leading rookie in the championship, Florian Venturi. And alongside him, it's the Brazilian driver, number 11, again for PK Car Sport, another Chevrolet Camaro of Felipe Rebello. Row 3 of the grid, that is number 3, former championship leader, second in the championship by just 2 points, Ulysse Delso for RDV competition at the wheel of his Toyota Camry. And alongside, that's where we see number 46, Justin Coutts, busy driver for Racing Total. He races in both Elite 1 and in Elite 2. The 4th row of the grid, he actually posted the second quickest time in qualifying, but was given a 5-place grid drop for an incident that occurred yesterday out on circuit. It's number 56, which is Matthew Reza for Cal Racing at the wheel of it. Says it's a Chevy on the graphic, but it's actually a Toyota for this weekend. And alongside the man who leads the championship, work to do for number 77, the Memphis Racing Chevy of Guillaume de Flandre. Row 5 of the grid is the man from Luxembourg, number 44 for Cal Racing. It's another Toyota rather than the Chevy shown on screen. That is Gilles Linster. And Pedro Bonnet did great things at his home NASCAR Grand Prix. Another rookie to the championship for this year, the number 90 car for Brax Racing. The 6th row of the grid, that's where we see number 7, Maxime Pampel, and 2, Kenko Mura. Row 7 of the grid is 73, Paul Guillaude, and will now be a gap because the number 4 car of Jean-Francois Dumoulin, of course, we saw head into the pit lane. The 8th row of the grid, number 91, the driver that joined us for the Elite 1 race earlier on, the former world cycling champion, Tom Bonham, lines up alongside your car, number 31, Francisco Parley, behind the wheel of the car that Mario Torreoni, who joins me in the commentary box, drove in the race earlier on. The instructions given for the drivers to start their engines. Row 9, number 8, Nicola Risitano, alongside 27, Pierluigi Veronesi. The next row of the grid, row number 10, it is car number 10, which is Dietrich Seasons, alongside number 1, Carmen Boitz-Gilles, the reigning ladies champion. She leads the ladies championship coming into this weekend as well. The 11th row of the grid, number 78, Jerry Zavert. We usually see him out racing in both Elite 2 and in Elite 1, but it's just Elite 2 for him this weekend, alongside number 41, Max Lancer. The penultimate row of the grid, number 70, Mirko Šuritis, and 9, which is Simone Loretti. And off the back of the grid is the car that won the race earlier on in the hands of Alan Day. It's in the hands of number 54, Ariana Casoli. So the grid is fully formed, Mauro. The championship is most certainly on. And it's quite intriguing, really, that our championship leader, only 8th quickest in the Super Pole session, and the driver that's second in the championship is ahead of him on the grid in 5th position.
Yeah. The start is important, but I hope that they will not ruin everything with a nasty start. The race is long, 16 laps. Everything can happen. These guys are really competitive. Let's see what happens on the first turn, and then we can see, because they're very close. They're very close.
We managed it in Elite 1. Let's hope we can manage it in Elite 2. This is the most unpredictable division in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. 6 different drivers have won throughout the course of this season. The championship leader, Guillaume de Flandre, has won 2 of those. Second in the championship, Ulysse Delso has won 3 races so far. Third in the championship, Florian Venturi has only won 1 so far. 4th in the championship, Wilfried Busenna has had a couple of wins. 6th in the championship, Felipe Rebello has had a win. That came at Franciacorta. And we've also seen a win for Guillaume Dumoulin, who sits there on pole position. He claimed his first ever NASCAR Whelen Euro Series win in the second race that we had at Franciacorta, i.e. round 4 of the championship in Italy. So the key on this lap, Mauro, is try and build temperatures in the brakes, try and build some temperatures into those controlled BF Goodrich tyres.
Yes, the tyres are important. One lap is not enough to put them in temperature, so actually also the first lap will be important, because they need not to do any mistake. The car will be moving around a lot in the first lap. That's why it's important not to go, let's say, too crazy. The brakes, you need to put temperature on the brakes. Actually, the brakes will suffer a lot in this circuit, because the braking is very hard. The 3 chicanes will go from the 4th gear to 2nd gear, and you do it for 15, 16 laps, especially if you are competing with the others. I saw people changing the pads right after race 1.
So does the pedal go long?
Yeah, you need to. I mean, I brake with the left. So usually during the straight, I pump them up so they get back close to the discs. This is a typical technique to have. Absolutely. If you don't brake with the left, then you need to use the left to pump them up and then go back to the clutch.
It looks like we're going to get an extra formation lap. You were just talking about 1 lap not being enough for the cars, so I think on the basis of this is Elite 2 rather than Elite 1, lesser experienced drivers, we are going for an extra formation lap here for the start of our Elite 2 race, just to, I think, help build those temperatures up. So 1 additional warm-up lap for the drivers, which is a good thing. We were talking about not going too crazy earlier on. We don't want a first corner incident. We have to go green straight away. And of course, we've also got that extra dynamic of oil from the previous race to worry about.
Yeah, there was oil also from the race before Elite 1, especially going down to the Villeneuve on the left downhill. There was a lot of filler, a lot of oil, so everybody kind of stayed out of that trajectory. I believe it's better to have 2 formation laps. So all good. They will take advantage of this.
They will, yeah. Just weave from side to side, build the tyre temperatures, more importantly than anything, get on and off the brakes as well, because that will build the brake temperatures. That heat radiates out into the wheel rim, which then penetrates the carcass of the tyre, and up comes the tyre pressures into the sweet spot. If you push on too much on the tyres, will they overheat in the temperatures we have here this weekend?
Yeah, in the morning we actually had the opposite problem, because especially during qualifying, the temperature of the track and the atmosphere was very cold, so it took much longer to warm them up. But at the end of the race, the tire will suffer, as well as the brakes.
Cold.
So it's very important to have a good strategy. Unfortunately, in this circuit, the spotter talks to you only for half of the circuit, because the other half is covered.
It's covered, and you can't.
So you need to be smart and define the way to drive with your team in the pit box before you start the race.
You say it's cold here. You're from the south of Italy, from Puglia. For me, I'm from the UK. This is warm. This is warm.
No, I know, but now I live in Switzerland. So
so you know what cold is there.
Yeah.
You know what cold is there.
We don't get much rain as you do, but it's fun to drive in the snow as well.
We had a bit of snow last winter in the UK. I think most of Europe did. So you can just see it's not smoke in the background. That's the cement dust that's being raised into the air, that's been deposited down there to remove that oil that was put out there by our support race. So don't worry, it's not an issue with the car there in the background. So just to give you the colours then, front row of the grid, look out for the red and black car of the pole sitter, Guillaume Dumoulin, who qualified on pole position. He's not in the championship shout because he missed Tour and missed Hockenheim, but he does want to win this weekend, his home NASCAR Grand Prix. Plenty of support for him. Alongside him on the front row of the grid is the white and light blue Knauf Ford Mustang of Willy Busenna. Willy is a former champion in Elite 2 back in 2009. Row 2 of the grid, it's largely yellow and black for Florian Venturi. Similar colours to the car that's alongside him, the number 11 PK Car Sport car of Felipe Rebello, also yellow and black. Row 3 of the grid, white and black. Straight down the centre of it, white one side, black the other, the Frenchman Ulysse Delceau. And then the third row of the grid on the outside is number 46, Justin Kutz, the German, black, but with day-glow yellow flashes to the tail end of his car. So they are just now working their way out of Boulderberg and then heading up towards the Jackie X chicane. We can see that the safety car is about to peel its way into the pit lane. It sort of doesn't need to peel at all, it just goes straight on, whereas the rest of the cars will sort of feed round to the left and then to the right, and then we'll be ready to go with round 11 of the 2018 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. Let's hope that it's a clean start as they head up towards Erst, which is turn number 1, the left-hander, neat 2x2 order. They head out of the Jackie X chicane, and it looks as though, absolutely, door handle to door handle with the car beside is what you need to be in 2 lines. Buckle up, we're about to go green here at Zolder. Great start from Guillaume Dumoulin, who gets the jump over Willy Busenna as they head down towards turn number 1, Erst, and it certainly looks as though he can take the normal racing line in there. That was a fantastic start, or appeared to be, from Guillaume Dumoulin. It looks as though Kenko Mura is trying around the outside of everybody at the wheel of the number 2 Alex Caffey racing machine, but he can't quite pick the pocket of number 7 Maxime Pampel, who's trying to make it 3 wide by the look of things as they went through Sterabak Bocht there, and then from there they'll start to flash up towards Canal Bocht, and Bianchi Bocht is where they're going now. But Guillaume Dumoulin, what a start from him already, Mauro Trioni. There's
it's
daylight.
Flying. It's flying, yes. He had a fantastic start. Here, the possibility to pass is before the lights, so he did a perfect move. Maybe he's the guy that was next to him was not so quick in reacting, and he took already like a couple 100 meters of advantage.
Well, he was half a second quicker than anybody in qualifying, but he's made a mistake somewhere.
I think he's out.
Yeah, he's made a mistake there. Has he had a problem? Because he's already dropped down into 3rd place. Willy Busenna leads the race. It's Florian Venturi through to 2nd place, and Guillaume Dumoulin, who done all of the hard work. Now, that must have been a mistake for him. Paul Guillot takes to the grass on the exit of the Gilles Villeneuve chicane. There must have been a mistake, perhaps coming out of the cleaner chicane there, because all of a sudden the car seems to be back to full pace once more, but he's having to defend from Ulysse Delceau as they head into the chicane.
He has a problem. He's slowing down. He's really slow.
Yeah, let's wait and see as to whether he heads towards the end of pit road at the end of this one. That would be an enormous shame for the pole sitter, but Willy Bucena will lead. Guillaume Dumery is dropping down through the order and surely will be destined to the end of the pit lane. I also think, is it Guillaume de Flandre has got puffs of smoke coming out from the tail end of his car. Over the start-finish line, one lap of the 16 completed. Willy Bucena leads the race. Florian Venturi in second place. Yeah, there's huge amounts of smoke coming out from the tail end of one of the cars, and I think that's Guillaume de Flandre potentially, who of course leads the championship and can't really afford for misfortune to head in his general direction as expected. Yet Guillaume Dumery does head down the pit lane into retirement, the pole sitter. Not sure what the problem was, but that now means that Willy Bucena leads from Florian Venturi in second position. A great fight going on for fourth, and I think Alex Sedgwick, another car that's had problems on the first lap of the race, he's also heading for pit lane. So we've remained green, but it's not gone to plan for some, Mauro.
I think that maybe Guillaume, if you see to the turn, they lifted the how do you call them in English? The edge of the corner. There is like the
curbing.
I'll look at it in the dictionary. I will let you know. But I think that if you cut too much, then you create damages to your car.
Yeah.
So they put also some cones to avoid that. But some drivers, maybe you do a small mistake. You cut, you touch the bottom of the car, and you can break a suspension. You can break the front. Potentially this is what happened to Guillaume.
No, that's an enormous shame for Guillaume Dumery. He's hoping for good things here. It's a big shame also for number 37, who leads the race, which is Wilfried Bucena, but is being given a drive-through penalty, we gather, for some sort of start line infringement. Now, I'm not sure what. He leads the race on circuit, but he's going to have to head down pit road. That is going to be transmitted in terms of information for him now, and then he is going to be told that by his spotter. And how frustrating as a race driver must it be? You're out front, you're leading your race, you've just inherited the race as a result of problems for someone else, and then all of a sudden your spotter tells you that, well, you're not going to be leading the race anymore, Wilfried Bucena, you've got a drive-through penalty. That's not what you want to hear, is it, Mauro?
No. But let me tell you one thing. We were talking about car 77, that is the actual leader. I think he doesn't have any problem because he's improving the position. I think he gained maybe just because of Guillaume stopping in the pit lane. But I'm happy because they are friends. The Swiss team where Alex Graf is racing in Elite 1. They're great guys, and I can see that he doesn't have any issues, so he can fight for the championship.
And we've just seen your car as well, Francesco Parli, having a quick look up the inside of somebody heading towards the cleaner chicane. Quite whether he was able to squeeze the number 31 car through or not, I'm not entirely sure. We'll might be able to pick it out as they head up towards the Gilles Villeneuve chicane, which is where Francesco Parli will be heading now. But in the meantime, our race leader is down towards Jochen Rindt-Bocht. He'll be heading round and through. Wilfried Bucena leading the race on the road. 2 laps completed. He's got just over 1 second's advantage between himself and Florian Venturi. But as we say, we know this number 37 Knauf car has got to go and suffer a drive-through penalty. Somebody's off by the look of things. That's the exit of Jochen Rindt-Bocht, where the dust has been raised. Should be able to continue whatever the problem was. As over the start-finish line, 3 laps completed. Great fight going on for second and third place as Florian Venturi is under pressure from Ulysse Delceau, who's trying around the outside at turn number 1 to try and get the inside for turn number 2. It worked for Alan Day in Elite 1. Hasn't worked as yet for Ulysse Delceau, who is, of course, lying second in the championship standings at the wheel of this number 3 RDV competition Toyota Camry. We've seen 3 wins so far for him this year, 2 at his home Grand Prix at Tours on the oval. He also won last time out at Hockenheim. And at the moment, he is bottled up behind Florian Venturi and needs to be careful, Mauro. He wants to attack, but he's going to have to defend. Felipe Rebello is right behind him.
Well, actually, this fight is giving advantage to Wilfried Bucena, because he was just in front of Venturi, and now he's, I think he gained like a second and a half, something like that, in few turns. So if these guys want to reach Wilfried, they should stop fighting and play together to go after him. Otherwise, they're gonna slow down somehow. And actually, the other cars in the back are getting close, like for example number 77. So
Yeah, that'll be Mathieu Dreser, then 77 Guillaume de Flandre, and then Justin Coutts, who were all sort of busy with each other as well. Several cars just trundled down pit lane as well, I spotted as well. Nicola Risitano came into pit lane, Paul Guillot came into the pit lane, and Simone Loretti as well.
I think that now there was a contact between Guillaume and Dreser? How do you pronounce it?
Yeah, Mathieu Dreser. Into the pit lane it comes Wilfried Busenna. So we said the number 37 car had got a drive-through penalty. That has now been communicated to Willy Busenna, so he is not going to be leading the race anymore. It means Florian Venturi leads the race, but look at the pressure that he's under. Ulysse Delso drawing himself alongside. Felipe Rebello is trying to join in as well. There goes the number 77 car with damage to the tail end. That was the smoke.
Because of the contact I was mentioning before.
Bodywork rubbing.
Look for this guy, because I believe that with Wilfried Busenna out for the penalty, now they are really close, because Guillaume and between Guillaume and Florian Venturi is what's the difference? Is 1.7 seconds. So
it's all very, very close there, and it looks as though there has been a shuffle in the order, because whilst Ulysse Delso was looking to try and squeeze his way through, we've had a change in the order. So it's now going to be Florian Venturi that leads the race. Felipe Rebello is up into second place, the number 11 PK Car Sport car, and Ulysse Delso has dropped right the way down through the order. We didn't quite see what happened there, but that must have been around at Canal Bocht somewhere where that problem occurred. You can see Florian Venturi working hard. Felipe Rebello right behind him. There's Ulysse Delso now down into third place. Mathieu Dreser is there in fourth. Guillaume de Flandre and Justin Coutts are in the mix as well. So it's 6 for the lead of the race. We're on lap number 5 currently. Of course, remember, Florian Venturi also leading the Rookie Cup as well for those drivers in Elite 2 having their first season of racing. So down in 13th place, Dietrich Seysens leads the Legend Trophy at this stage, and leading the Ladies' Cup, it is going to be in 17th place, Carmen Boitz-Gilles currently. Look at them all, almost 3 wide that time. This is pure racing, isn't it? In towards the break here for the chicane. Ulysse Delso gets turned around by Florian Venturi. He's facing the wrong way, the Frenchman. He's going to have to wait for a gap in the traffic and keep his fingers crossed that nobody hits him there. Over the start-finish line now go, and well, it might have been Felipe Rebello actually that turned him round. Florian Venturi leads, and I think it might have been Felipe Rebello possibly, but they were all so close to each other, Mauro. At some point, that was probably going to be inevitable.
No, if you remember, in Franciacorta there was a fight between me, there was Bobby Labonte and Wilfried Busenna and Gianmarco Ercoli. The 4 of us wanted to go in a place where usually one car can pass, and this is the same. But this is the beautiful thing about NASCAR. You fight, you don't care. Is pure racing. I mean, touching, scrapping, no matter what. I believe some drivers will say, yeah, you don't have the opportunity to drive the way you want, but this is competition. Especially for the fans, it's beautiful to see a fight.
It's great to watch, isn't it? It's what we want, absolutely what we enjoy. Now, if Florian Venturi wins this race, bearing in mind he's third in the championship standings, just 20 points off the lead, it could absolutely put him right back in the championship hunt. But he's got work to do here, because he's under pressure from Felipe Rebello, who's desperate to try and score a victory. Florian Venturi a little bit slower now, so it's still 5 for the lead. Venturi from Rebello, from Dreser, from then Guillaume de Flandre, as again they branch out and end up being side by side, heading in towards the braking area for Jackie X chicane. Florian Venturi leads the race, but Mathieu Dreser here is going to pick the pocket of Felipe Rebello and should come through to second, I think, as they come over the start-finish line. Contact between them. There's going to be and a big accident and into the barriers goes Felipe Rebello. He was sort of sideswiped by one of his competitors, and there's not a great deal of runoff there. That's surely going to give us a full course caution. Yes. And it was just Mauro as the barriers came from the area where there's runoff back towards the very edge of the circuit. You're talking about not much runoff in some areas.
No, this is difficult. This is well, the guy hit the wall where we have tires, so it should be okay.
Yeah.
But it was a solid impact. So I believe that. Oh, actually, 46. This is.
It is. That was the fight for second position, potentially. Mathieu Dreser off and Justin Coutts.
Yes.
So they were over the start-finish line, second and fourth, but they've clearly had a coming together, and that's at the exit of turn number 1, isn't it? So that's the exit of Erst, which is a difficult old corner, Erst. I've sort of not driven round this track on anything other than sort of simulators, but it's a corner where it's very difficult to get it right. It's quite a fast corner, that first left-hander.
Yes. Again, I'm sincerely, I'm watching the video to understand how the driver Felipe Ravello is feeling, because the impact was pretty heavy. If you have any news, let me know.
We will, rest assured. Strong old cars, though. Strong
so now
old cars.
we have the safety car in. We should be able to understand. It's fine?
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Safety car is out there. Felipe Rebello is out of the car. You can see,
Okay.
you just saw, there he is. Look, there's Justin Kuntz out of his car, chatting away the finer points of what happened between himself and Matteo Drese. And as is always the case with racing drivers when the helmet is on, most of it is done by hand signals and pointing at. But there's Felipe Rebello. We can see him out of the car. He's absolutely fine.
He's fine.
Very strong cars.
But we go back to what we say at the beginning of the commentary.
Yeah.
Everything can happen. Look at this. Number 77 was starting from the 7th position, I believe, or 8th, and now is 3rd. So the championship, that was looking bad for him, is now looking good again. And I believe that even if Florian, well, actually 2nd, so even if Florian Velturi will win, because of the double points, number 77 will still be leading the championship at the end.
Of course, the winner would get 80 points, which is Florian Venturi, who was 20 off the race leader, that's 20 off the championship leader, which is Guillaume de Flandre. Guillaume de Flandre would finish 2nd, which would give him 70 points.
So it's 10 points.
Yeah, Florian Venturi would still halve the gap, though, with one race to go.
Yeah, so, and tomorrow there is, well,
double points
first
again.
of all, they need to finish this race.
Well, they need to get this one
Yes.
done.
And then there is tomorrow.
And whilst he also dropped down through the order, 2nd in the championship by just 2 points, Ulysse Delceau, because cars out that were ahead of him in the race have now gone out, 3 of them. That works him back up through the order again. He's still in 8th place, which is not where he'll want to be, but it could have been worse, couldn't it?
Yes.
So we said it was the most unpredictable division in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series for very good reason.
Well, now, look at my teammate Francesco. Now he's 12. Actually, Jerry DeVert, that is his competitor in the Legend Trophy, is in front of him. But you can get easily, you can get back on, in contention for whatever happens. And I don't see this in many championships.
No, it's great the way that it works. It really is great the way that the championship works with these double points in the semi-finals and in the finals as well. So under safety car here, that means that the laps still tick off. So 7 laps have been completed. We just saw Matt Drese's car being removed out of harm's way. No damage to it. It was sort of on the end of a tow rope rather than needing to be lifted. So all 4 wheels were turning on that car. So that is at least one of the 3 that we've got out of harm's way. We just need to get Justin Kuntz's car out of the gravel trap and then sort out the recovery of Felipe Rebello's car. So there is Justin Kuntz embedded rather deep into the gravel trap. The marshal's busy sort of trying to remove gravel from the front of it and attach the tow rope to it so we can get that car out of harm's way. And then, of course, Felipe Rebello's car needs not only moving out of the way, but even once the car is out of the way, which is perfect by our director there, is just being winched onto the back of the flatbed recovery unit. Fair amount of damage to the front of that car, and that's front left suspension that's gone on that one. That is going to take a bit of work for the PK Car Sport team to sort that car out. Even once the car's out of harm's way, we then need to make sure that the barriers are okay and put the tyres back and do the sweeping up as well. So another few laps, I would imagine, behind the safety car. And as we see that number 11 car being dropped onto the back of the flatbed, work to be done for PK Car Sport, Mauro.
Look at the classification now, and considering the restart, even Ulysse Delceau he has the possibility to win the race again. I mean, I hope that the safety car will not stay out that much, because otherwise, we have few laps remaining. But everything can happen. Again, if you are in 4th row and you have a good start, like I saw people doing before, you can gain position. Pierluigi Veronesi is 7th, and he was starting, way back. Interesting.
It is, yes.
Interesting. I'm really looking forward to see the restart.
So,
considering the hot blood of these drivers.
well, there's some pretty experienced heads on very young shoulders still. The likes of Florian Venturi has been around racing, whether it be karting or single-seaters, for a good number of years, but of course he leads the race and makes his debut in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. This time, the cars are being brought by the safety car down pit lane because, of course, the proximity of where the breakdown vehicle was to the edge of the circuit. So the race director, quite rightly so, has decided that it might be wiser just to bring the cars down pit lane whilst the recovery of the number 11 Chevrolet Camaro of the Brazilian driver Felipe Rebello is just concluded. Justin Kutz's car has now been moved out of the gravel, so he will be good to head away from the scene of the crime. The driver that finished 6th in the Elite 2 standings last year. Of course, we also saw Justin Kutz out earlier on this year racing in the Camping Truck World Series as well over in America. So he sampled the NASCAR brand both here in Europe and over in America as well. So that is dealt with. And now we just need to make sure we can get the tyres back into position. And in the absence of a JCB, I think a flatbed truck with the ability to sort of push its way into the tyres, we can hopefully get those tyres back out of harm's way. So what we now need to do is not only make sure the circuit is good, but we've also got to reorder the cars, Mauro, because what we do is we go back to, as you will well know, and your spotter tells you when you're out there, we go back to the positions that they were in on the lap prior to the safety car coming out. So if there's been any changes of order, they get reshuffled, Mauro. Yeah,
because if you see now the way they got into the pit lane, some drivers are, for example, in 20th position, but they are 6 laps back. Considering the guy that they have in front, that is 30 seconds back from the leader. So it means that they need to move around. So the spotter has to tell them, you are not in the position that you think you are because you have already lost a couple laps because of whatever happened. So you need to get back in the right position. And this is important because, again, here you can hear your spotter only if you know, during the straight on the finish line. Yeah. If you go in the back, you don't know. So I hope that this reordering will not take that much.
The car that's behind the safety car at the moment, so the first in the queue, is the number 8 Racers Motorsport Ford Mustang of Nicola Risitano. So that is a car that is, as you suggested, yes, several laps adrift, so needs waving past the safety car. So we end up with the race leader behind it, which is the number 32 Go Fast Racing Ford Mustang of Florian Venturi. Great to see Go Fast Racing joining the championship for this year. The American team competing on both sides of the Atlantic in the NASCAR branded series. And well, for Florian Venturi, he has already dealt them a race victory. That came at the 6th race of the season at Brands Hatch in the United Kingdom, and the 2nd race that we had there that weekend. So we've been to Spain, to Valencia, we've been to Italy, to Franciacorta, we've been to the United Kingdom, to Brands Hatch, we've been out to France, to Tours, on Hockenheim in Germany, and we conclude the season in Belgium. It's a great mixture of circuits, isn't it, that are on the calendar?
Well, not because you're here with me, but let me tell you that Brands Hatch was unique. I mean...
You liked Brands, did you?
I loved it because having so many spectators that were competent, because, you know, in England is beautiful to see that, you know, even kids from school were taken to see the race because they know about cars, about drivers, they want to know about the technique, and this is pretty unique. I didn't see it in other countries. And I believe, if I'm not wrong, that we had 50,000 spectators.
Probably more.
Yeah. Probably more. Yeah. So for a driver, that is like, he becomes a superstar. So one other thing about the NASCAR is that this flavor to be like protagonist, I say in English, I'm sorry, my English is bad today. But you know, you feel like you are a star. Yeah. You know, the autograph session. I saw, you know, some GT racing in other circuits like in Monza. There is no comparison between the two championships. No way. The people that are coming to see beautiful cars like the GTs are not even close to the numbers that we saw, for example, in Brands Hatch.
Absolutely. You know, here this weekend, you know, we've got good numbers coming in today. There's huge numbers expected tomorrow at Zolder. We saw that at Hockenheim. But yeah, I think if there's a round you can go to Brands Hatch, you'll have to get there early because it's very busy, as Mauro just said. But any of the circuits on the calendar this year, or when the calendar's announced, have a look at the calendar for next year when it's announced, because there's some exciting things ahead for the 2019 championship season that will be released in due course. So you've seen the cars come back down pit lane. That's because the circuit is still blocked up there with the recovery of the car having been completed, but we're just getting the tyres back into position. We've then got to conclude the reordering as well, which means that all of the laps are now sort of ticking away. They are on lap number 10
so we have
of
seven laps,
16.
7 laps to go, and I believe that they will take another couple laps for the restart. So it might be that, you know, the finish will be decided in 5 laps, maybe.
Yeah, it looks as though Paul Guillaume was sort of slowing up on circuit there, so I assume that he's been told as to where he needs to drop back into. We're also hearing that the number 8 car of Nicola Risitano is getting the free pass under safety car, so as expected, we've got somebody on the grass there by the look of things. That's under safety car. Francisco Parli was being overtaken by Dietrich Seysens there. I'm not quite sure what happened there. The camera team cut to it beautifully well to show us what was going on, but we just missed the front end of it. Now, whether that was a car braking and Dietrich Seysens getting caught out, I'm not entirely sure, but thankfully there didn't appear to be any contact, which is a good thing, because contact under safety car, A, is not a good thing, and B, you would have to point yourself in the direction of the race director and explain as to what was going on.
Don't tell me, because talking about Brands Hatch,
I
crashed with my friend Longin during, you know.
I'd forgotten about that. Sorry.
So because, you know, you warm up the tires, somebody accelerates when the other brakes, and, you know, how do you say in English? Shit happens. I'm sorry about this word.
We do. Apologies for the language. Apologies.
Yeah, but this is you need to be careful, especially because, you know, you've been following the pace car for a few laps. The tires are cold. You want to warm up. You want to go. And again, stay away. Don't get so close. When it's time to get close, it means go.
Yeah.
But don't do that mistake. I ruined my race, and I ruined also his race for a stupid mistake.
So there we go. We can see the tyres now being hoisted into the way. They're not able to push them in the way. There's so much weight to those tyres that they're actually having to lift them up with the crane to get them out of the way. I think that's now been done because the crane is being repositioned back onto the flatbed truck. There's a bit more sweeping up to be done. One other thing I can tell you, whatever the problems were for the PK Car Sport Chevrolet Camaro, number 24 of Guillaume Dumoulin, that car is now back out in the race. Now, yes, it is several laps adrift.
Five laps.
But they've obviously gone to work. Now, that's a good thing, because if they think they can sort the problem, Mauro, it's worth doing it. Get the car out there. It's way off the pace now and not going to get a result. Hopefully, whatever the problem is, it's fully sorted. But it gives them the chance to test it.
Not only, it will give him a chance to get a good lap time.
For tomorrow's race.
That is the starting grid for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So even if you're not going to win, you're going to finish 23rd or even 30th, it doesn't matter. Go out, test your car, do the lap, because maybe you can start in pole position tomorrow.
Yeah, well, at the moment, it looks as though Guillaume Dumoulin is on a 1 minute 41.872, being his best, and that is already the fastest lap of the race, because Felipe Rebello has posted a 1 minute 41.9, and the only other driver in the 1 minute 41s is Ulysse Delceau, also with a 1 minute 41.9. So for the moment, yeah, Guillaume Dumoulin may well not get the result in this one, but the fastest lap he's posted today could net him pole position for tomorrow.
Faster than me, because my best lap was 142.7. So this guy is much faster than me. Actually, I was pretty slow this morning, so.
Guillaume Dumoulin really has come back with a bounce. He has recently become a father, so it's great to see him back in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, and let's see what he might be able to do in this one. Yeah, proud father of René with his wife Emily, so we wish them all of the very best moving forward. So safety car is going to be in at the end of this lap, is the information that we are hearing. So Florian Venturi will be able to decide what he wants to do. It's not always the best thing having the inside line up towards turn number 1, because the inside line at turn number 1, Mauro, is the outside line for turn number 2 and turn number 3. Yes,
and it's also a slow line, because you need to cut the first corner coming from the outside. Some drivers almost hit the wall of the pit lane to get as much as on the right and cut. So being inside, it means you need to protect. So the other driver can come faster and pass you on the next corner, as you said.
Now, just spotted a little bit of, even at these slow speeds, a little bit of the bonnet just flapping on the race-leading car of Florian Venturi. So this is the 11th lap that they are on. The safety car is just heading up towards Sacramentshelling, which is the highest part of the circuit, before it then dives down in towards the Villeneuve chicane, which is where it's heading now. The Whelen lights will get extinguished on the top of it before too much longer, and that is the indication that we'll be good to go at the end of this one for what should be, if we stay green, 5 further laps of racing. Florian Venturi, could he claim win number 2 of the season? Guillaume de Flandre, might he be able to chalk up the championship leader win number 3 of the season? Might we see Maxime Pampel come through and grab a victory? Either way, at the moment, if he hangs on to the place that he's in, the driver that gave us our onboard lap, if you were watching qualifying this morning, he'd be on for his first podium of the 2018 championship season. So, plenty more to come, Mauro. I suspect there might be more action as well, because as we say, it is very much the most unpredictable division.
And they all want to win, no matter what. They don't make calculation at the end. I mean, some drivers do, some others they want to go in front. I see Guillaume having some damages on his car as well, but again, 5 laps they will stay there, even if they will lose the piece of the car. I don't think they will stop, or somebody will, have to shoot them to make them stop.
Yeah, so here we go then, up towards the chicane, the Jackie Ick chicane, and then the safety car will just carry straight on. In fact, it's peeled its way onto the left of the circuit to get out of harm's way. So the instructions from the race officials are 2 lines, nose to tail with the car either ahead of you or behind you, door to door with the car either to your left or your right, and you stay in those 2 lines until you cross the start-finish line. So even when the lights go out and the green flag waves, you've still got to stay in those 2 lines. So over the start-finish line there will shortly come. This is lap number 11 that's about to be completed. We're about to go back to green flag racing here. Round 11 of the 2018 Elite 2 Championship season. Up towards the start-finish line. Lights go out, and it looks as though, as the green flag waves, they head up towards turn number 1. And Florian Venturi has just got the jump over Guillaume de Flandre in second place, and that looks as though Kenko Muir is trying around the outside of Maxime Pampel, and it worked. Fantastic stuff.
Banzai.
However, Maxime Pampel is braving it out around the outside at turn number 2 now, and I think might possibly even return the favour. Guillaume de Flandre was much quicker than Florian Venturi coming out of turn 2 and up towards turn 3. And is he going to have a go for the lead of the race? No, not quite, as they head up towards Bianchi Bot, and then flick their way through that right-hander and down the short straight and in towards the chicane. Good start from Florian Venturi, but looking hungry. Is the championship leader in second place, Mauro?
Yes, the guy is smart. He's very, let's say, he's a nice man. If you see, he doesn't talk too much. He's very cold, very young. But when he gets into the car, his behavior changes completely. So he's a good guy. I'm a friend of both the driver. Oh, there is another problem, but
that's Carmen Boitschil. Oh dear, who's come to weather with Mirko Schultes and Nicola Risitano. Damage to the front end of Carmen Boitschil's car. That hampers her aspirations for back-to-back Ladies' Cup. Mirko Schultes will leave the scene of the accident. However, Nicola Risitano, who just got the drive-through, will keep going, so we might avoid going to caution here. Let's hope so. Carmen Boitschil, though, will have to limp her way back round in towards pit lane, I would guess, at the wheel of that number 1, rather battered Alex Caffey racing machine. So race still continues. Florian Venturi through the Jackie Ick chicane, continuing to lead this first race for Elite 2 of the weekend. Guillaume de Flandre, the 19-year-old Belgian, in second place. Maxime Pampel on for his first podium. You can see how close to the wall was Maxime Pampel there. You mentioned, Mauro, how close drivers get towards the pit wall, heading in towards turn number 1. Well, if you didn't spot it, grab this footage, rewind it, and get to that point of the race, because I'm pretty sure Maxime Pampel touched the wall there. And has that compromised his efforts at all? There they go. Maxime Pampel is still there.
Yeah.
Ulysse Delceau is in 4th place, but I'm sure he tagged the wall there.
I was watching the GT race earlier, and I was with with my head outside the wall, and it's impressive how close they get to that wall.
Bearing in mind it's a left-hand drive as well, you've really got to gauge the width of the car, haven't you? Yeah. It's not Ulysse Delso in fourth place. It's actually fifth as well. It's Kenko Mura's similar sort of liveried white car I was trying to pick out at distance. So through they come. Florian Venturi now getting the break a little bit. Now, can Kenko Mura hang on to fourth place under pressure from Ulysse Delso, the Frenchman, as they head up towards the conclusion of yet another lap. This is lap number 13 that they're about to chalk into the book. It's the fight for fourth and fifth that we want to be looking at. Kenko Mura's hanging on to the place. Ulysse Delso shows the nose of the car but can't quite squeeze his way through. We've also got Tom Bonan having a great run. He's up to sixth position at this stage, Tom Bonan. That would be his first top six of the season. We mentioned that earlier on when he was in the commentary box for the Elite One race, that it'd be great to see him inside the top six. Well, absolutely, he is doing that. How much of an advantage is it when you're at your home NASCAR race to be out there on the circuit with the local support, the family and everybody?
Big advantage. It means that he knows, oh, this is a nice pass.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Kenko, Banzai. He doesn't give up.
Kenko Mura.
Actually, I would like Kenko not to. Oh, that's a shame. 77.
That's the championship leader. Yeah. Problems for Guillaume de Flandre, and that is the leader of the championship by just 2 points. That is out of the race. The Memphis racing car
3 laps to go.
grinds
That's a
to
shame.
a halt. Well, we saw it in the Elite One race with Luca Lasser, the championship leader, having problems. Loris Hazeman, who was fourth in the championship, having problems. I didn't expect to see similar things in the Elite 2 race, but we have Florian Venturi leads the race, and this now absolutely puts him back in a very, very handy position in the championship. Mathematically, he could be in the lead at the end of this one. And that would be a real turn up for the Brooks. So there goes Florian Venturi. He's got a big old lead now between himself and in second place Maxime Pampel, and it certainly looks as though Ulysse Delso now has got himself ahead of Kenko Mura.
Yes,
so Ulysse Delso is up to third,
because you have still Guillaume in the screen here, but Guillaume is out. So I believe Florian is first, Pampel is second, Ulysse Delso is third, and Kenko is fourth.
And if that's the case, Ulysse Delso is going to score 64 points. It's going to be 80 for Florian Venturi, who was 20 behind the race leader, as was Guillaume de Flandre, and 18 behind Ulysse Delso. So that means, crumbs, it is going to be very, very, very close in terms of the championship standings. And Ulysse Delso is now, by the look of things, looking to try and work his way further up through the order. He's ahead of Maxime Pampel this time. He's up into second position. So Ulysse Delso, fantastic drive from the Frenchman. We were talking about how it had all come undone for him earlier on when he dropped down through the order, but your best thing to do as a racing driver is, while the race is still on, not let that worry you. Crack on, keep your fingers crossed as a safety car, and work your socks off, and he's done all of those.
Well, I don't have to tell you, but I don't have the crystal ball. But before the restart, they said Ulysse is 8th, and he can go up to first with the restart. And guess what? This is typical of this kind of racing. This is why this is unpredictable.
It is typical of Ulysse Delso. He is an absolute star as well.
He's fast. If you see the lap time, he's way faster than the others. The only 2 guys that are below 142 are Venturi and Delso. So I'm not surprised. Yeah, I'm very sorry for
Guillaume de Flandre.
Yeah, very sorry for Guillaume, but this is it.
So we are now on the 15th lap of the race. They'll be heading on to their last lap any second now. Florian Venturi was leading by 4 seconds from Ulysse Delso at the start of this lap, side by side further down through the order, and that is Kenko Mura trying to defend and grab a place if he can from, let's look, Maxime Pampel. Yeah, and he squeezed his way through there. So Maxime Pampel losing out to Kenko Mura. We could see Kenko on the overall podium here.
I wish that he will go on the podium, so he will be happy and he will not fight against me tomorrow. And actually, you know, I'm very happy also for my teammate Francesco that is in the top 10 with all this, whatever happened.
In the top 10 and leading the Legend Trophy as well, I hasten to add. So we'll see Francesco head onto the top step of the Legend Trophy podium. There goes, now in 4th place, the car of Maxime Pampel, under pressure from his fellow countryman Tom Bonan, who is now, of course, with all of these shenanigans that have been going on, in 5th position, definitely on for his best result of the season so far.
Oh, Jerry just passed Francesco.
Oh no, so that's the change of the Legend Trophy, so that's the 10th and 11th places overall. So Francesco Parli, number 31, was leading the Legend Trophy. It's now Jerry de Vert that has managed to get himself back into that position. That's for bronze-graded drivers over 40 years of age that race in the Elite 2 division. Look at the squabbles that are going on.
Final lap.
Yeah, they're on their final lap. They're part of the way through their final lap. Maxime Pampel, number 7, under attack from Tom Bonen, while Gilles Linster is in there as well. That's 4th, 5th and 6th places that we were looking at. Here comes...
And Kenko is on the podium. Come on, Banzai.
Yeah, he's looking good, isn't he?
He's a nice guy. He's such a nice guy.
Kenko Mura is a star. We have seen him in the top 6 once so far this year. He had a 5th place at Valencia in the first round of the championship season, but we've not seen him on the podium.
I talked to his team manager, there is a friend, Alex Caffey, and he told me that this is a circuit where Kenko goes always very well.
Nice.
Today he was fast in Elite 1 in the...
Contact further back. Maxime Pampel gets turned around by Tom Bonen. That was on the run out of the Jochen Rindbocht. But our race leader, Florian Venturi, is turning his way through the Jackie chicane for the final time. The checkered flag is being readied. And for Florian Venturi, he's going to win round 11 of the championship in his 2nd victory of the season. Congratulations to Florian Venturi. He comes through and claims his 2nd win of the season. Of course, that's only his 2nd career win in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. 2nd goes the way of Ulysse Delso. Kenko Mura, congratulations to him. He's on the podium. Gilles Linster finishes in 4th place. The rather battered-looking car of Tom Bonen that was involved in that final lap incident between himself and Maxime Pampel finishes on the road in 5th place. And poor old Maxime Pampel with the contact down into 7th. Who's going to win the Legend Trophy? It is going to go the way of Jerry de Vert, just from the man in your car, Francesco Parli. There is the number 31 car. It looks as though he might not have won the Legend Trophy, but he's brought the car home in one piece.
Exactly.
And been competitive as well, I've got to say.
Yeah, but tomorrow he has to race before me, so I hope he doesn't make any damages because I'm still fighting for the Challenger Trophy in Elite 1. But it was a good race. Congratulations to the winner, Florian Venturi, and fantastic race for, Ulysse Delso, and definitely my favorite guy, Kenko Mura, even if he's my competitor, but I respect him.
There is Mirko Schultes' car looking slightly battered. I think that's some of the brake ducting that's come away from the front. There's a bit of damage to the back as well. So Florian Venturi wins his 2nd win of the season. He claimed victory at Brands Hatch. Very much back in the title contention as well. He's just 8 points, if we've done the maths correctly, behind Ulysse Delso, and it will be the first podium for Kenko Mura as well. So the car's heading down towards victory lane. We'll grab a quick interview if we can with Florian Venturi as and when the Go Fast Racing Ford Mustang arrives in pit lane. There is the somewhat battered and second-hand looking Racers motorsport machine of Nicola Risitano, who has had a busy old race there. So he started 17th, Nicola Risitano, and he's going to finish, well, at least he has finished where others haven't, but that is going to be 15th and several laps off the lead by the look of things.
Let me tell you something also about the ladies trophy, because Arianna Casoli is in front of Carmen Boix,
yep.
Yes, and I think they were really close, 5 points for the championship, so this is a nice move from Arianna as well. So congratulations to Arianna.
That's her 4th Ladies Cup win of the season. So everything that's happened on track is under investigation by our race director. It could be a long night in race control, but just to confirm the way they took the checkered flag, at least the official results will be issued later on. But number 32 for Go Fast Racing, Florian Venturi, and his Ford claims the win. 2nd is number 3, if we've done the maths correct, leading the championship, Ulysse Delso for RDV competition, his Toyota Camry. 3rd, number 2, Kenko Mura for Alex Caffey in his Toyota, on the podium for the first time this season. And 4th goes away of number 44, Gilles Linster for Cal Racing. 5th is number 91, Tom Bonen, but of course he was involved in an incident on the final lap. 6th at the checkered flag was number 37, Willy Busenna, his Ford for Knauf Racing. 7th goes the way of Max Lancer. 8th is number 27, Pierluigi Veronesi. And then 9th and 10th, Maxime Pampel, and the winner of the Legend Trophy for bronze-graded drivers in Elite 2 goes the way of Jerry de Vert. So Florian Venturi poses for the photographs down there in victory lane, and well, you can see what it means to both him and the team. That means that he has closed the gap on the current championship leader Ulysse Delso to what we think mathematically is now down to just 8 points, and with one more race to go, one double points race to go tomorrow here at Circuit Zolder. That very, very much means that Florian Venturi, the leading rookie in the championship, is also absolutely in the hunt for the overall championship. You can see that's almost relief. That's a mixture of pleasure and relief as well there
all the pressure gets out. You have your emotions coming in, and before you were so concentrated, and now you are, you want to fly. You feel light, and you just want to celebrate, and it's a great moment.
Absolutely, it's a fantastic moment for Florian Venturi. Just the second race victory for him so far this season, and well, it means so much for him and the Go Fast Racing team. Had to work for it though, the number 32 car had to work for it. We can see Romain Iniesta, who drives that car in Elite 1, was busy just congratulating him as well. And Florian Venturi, you can see just physically that's draining, isn't it? He's a fit young man, is Florian Venturi, but he's puffing, he's wheezing, he's hot, he's sweaty, he's relieved, he's happy. It's a whole mixture of emotions.
Here's Jerome.
Yeah, Jerome.
He's doing such a good job. I really appreciate what this organization is putting together.
Florian, it's your second win in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series 2018. How do you feel?
Word with the race winner.
Yes, I'm happy, but I'm focused tomorrow. It's not finished. The championship it's over tomorrow, so I'm focused. Only full focus for tomorrow, yes.
What do you expect from tomorrow's race?
I don't know. The win? I don't know. I don't will come start. I don't know. So that the first goal is to win the championship. So I'm full.
All right, thank you very much. Congratulations, Florian Venturi.
Great stuff. Sorry, we just missed the very front end of that interview. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. We came to that interview just that little bit later. We can see Kenko Mura is there, busy smiling away. He's over on the left-hand side of the pitch. As you can just see his Alex Caffey racing overall. So that's going to be another driver that's going to have a big old smile on his face. You won't take that smile away for some hours, will you, Mauro?
No, it's a great moment. And talking about Kenko is amazing because he does Elite 1 and he races again in Elite 2. And it's not easy. Yeah, I remember in tours after all those laps, he was destroyed physically. But he's Japanese, so he's motivation and concentration. That's why we call him Banzai.
He's a real star. So there is the podium. We can see Kenko Mura on the podium. There is Ulysse Delso, and the top step of the podium is reserved for that man there, Florian Venturi. And now it's time for the French national anthem.
Okay, that will quick the trophies because it's 6 o'clock and then I have to shut up my microphone. Hervé, trophy for the third place winner. That's my money.
So Kenko Mura receives his trophy for finishing third in round 11 of the championship. Look at the big smile on, as Mauro Trioni's suggested, Banzai's face as he stands there on the podium. He will be very pleased with that. Ulysse Delso, well, it will be a mixture of pleasure and I'm sure relief as well for Ulysse Delso, who part the way through the race saw his championship aspirations evaporate, and he will be hugely relieved that he has come through to finish on the podium. And, well, then we wait for the top step of the podium. And the winner's trophy for the second time in 2018 goes the way of the Frenchman, Florian Venturi, who is now just 8 points adrift of the man to his right on the podium, Ulysse Delso. We've got the mathematics correct. And now it's time for the champagne to fly on the podium for round 11 of the 2018 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. All right, they're struggling to get the corks out here. Florian Venturi is there and ready to go. Kenko Mura is on hand, and poor old Ulysse Delso. We've seen so much of him on the podium. He keeps practicing this, but he always seems to struggle to get the corks out, which puts him, when it comes to the champagne fight, Mauro, at a slight disadvantage, doesn't it?
I don't like the champagne because you need your suit tomorrow, and trust me, it will smell badly. It
will smell badly. Thank you for joining us in the commentary box,
thank
Mauro
you for inviting me again.
We wish you all of the very best tomorrow. Well done to Francesco Parli as well. But three happy-looking drivers standing on the top step of the podium here at Circuit Zolder for round 11 of the 2018 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series Elite 2. They'll do it all again tomorrow, of course, don't forget, because we've got plenty more racing to come up here over the course of this weekend. So if you do want to tune in tomorrow, then the first thing you need to do is make sure that you get yourselves online. And if you are watching In Central Europe, the Elite 2 race, the second race of the weekend, is live on stream at 11:10 in the morning. If you're in the US, then set your alarms nice and early because it's 5:10 Eastern Time in the US. For today, that's all from Circuit Zolder. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.